I know it's a bit of a dismal day, but let's try it again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, that's the way we like it. Welcome. My name is Chris Fortunato. I'm Blair's head of school. I am absolutely delighted and excited to welcome you all here today for Open House. I know a lot of you will have and will be attending a lot of different open houses for schools as you kind of think through the process of what school is going to be the right and best fit for you. There are a lot of things you're going to hear and learn today, here and at other schools that you're going to be looking at. I actually want to start very emphatically and very directly telling you the one thing I hope you walk away from this day, understanding, seeing, and feeling. This is a school where we focus on knowing our students really well. And today's the day when you are going to be getting to know Blair on a lot of different fronts. You're going to be spending time on this campus, talking to students and faculty, hearing from staff, faculty, and students on this stage and throughout the course of the day. So you're going to be getting to know us a bit, and you will over the course of this application process. But one of the things that we're doing too right now is we're beginning a process that we know and love, which is getting to know you as students, as individuals. Because I believe very strongly that knowing your students really well forms the best foundation for learning, no matter whether you're in middle school, high school, college, graduate school, or anywhere beyond. So I've had experience working at the college and graduate school level for many years before coming to Blair. What I got to see is that the students who are best prepared to take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there are those who were able to really connect well with their teachers. And in turn, teachers had to be able to be willing to get to know them, to know the things that are most important to them, the values they hold, the value proposition they have. And we do that here exceptionally well. We do that here because it's a great joy. And we do that here because we think that is going to be the predicate for the best kind of learning. So you're going to hear a lot from people today that our commitment is to knowing our students and building those trusting relationships between students and teachers that really help students be poised for success in lots of different ways. So there are going to be a lot of other things you're going to learn and see across the campus. Anytime I prepare for a day like this, it reminds me of how proud I am to be in this role. This is my 6th year as head of school. Before being at Blair, I was a dean of students at the Harvard Kennedy School. So again, had an opportunity to get to know a lot of the skills and opportunities that are really important for students as they go through higher education. So some things I'm proud of that I wanted to highlight that you will get a chance to experience today. Honestly, it starts even with the singers who performed for you in the Chang Center this morning. We have a tremendous arts program here, both performing arts and visual arts, that you'll have an opportunity to learn more about, but it was great to see them get up there in the Chang Center and welcome you here today. But there are so many other things. I'm just going to give a few highlights, I think, about the last week that I spent here, things either I've borne witness to or I've been a part of. I've walked around this campus a lot because we're making some continued improvements and enhancements to this campus, the Chang Center being one of those things. So the building that you were just in opened just last year, and it's the Chang Center for Innovation and Collaboration, where we focus on everything from media and design and technology and the fine arts and interdisciplinary studies. Where last week I got a chance to sit in on a freshman seminar. Every freshman goes through a design and fabrication seminar over the course of their freshman year, getting to learn tools and design techniques in our makerspace. And in that same space on Thursday night, I got to sit in on a brand new course, a human rights seminar that a colleague of mine from Harvard is coming to teach here with 2 of his other colleagues at Blair. And they were talking about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the upcoming anniversary of the UN. In fact, a group of students are going to be traveling up to Harvard in December to attend a conference there on that very topic. And I got to listen to our students talk about things that are fundamentally important to them as individuals and be able to sit with one another and with some pretty amazing expert people talking about that topic. And the night before, we had a group of students and faculty talking about the Senate hearings for the Supreme Court nominee. And we had an opportunity for our leadership class, one section in which I teach, to be able to sit down and actually learn how to fundraise, because they are focused on helping nonprofits in the area do some really good work. And I sat with a group of students with a prime donor on Friday night, and those students secured the biggest donation they've ever secured for that particular organization, which is really exciting. I mention these things because there's a range of wonderful things that we allow our students to do and opportunities to help them gain skills and competencies in some ways that I want to kind of broadly talk about as leadership. Leadership means lots of different things to lots of different people. To me, it means doing things that are important and valuable that make you feel most like yourself, even when no one's watching. And so what we want to do for our students is develop a set of skills and competencies and opportunities so they get to do things that are really important to them. And so that includes focusing on their communication skills, focusing on their team-based problem-solving skills, helping them become ethical decision makers. Because as you can imagine, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, all you need to do is turn on any one of any various news channels today, and you may be thinking there need to be more moral leaders in the world. And that starts very much before even you get here, but is very much focused on when you arrive at Blair. That's what we want to try to do. We want to know our students really well, have you figure out the things that matter to you, know you for who you are and who you want to be, not who you think people want you to be. And that's really important. And when we do that, we then tap into opportunities for you to be able to expand your horizons and do things that are important to you in this environment. And we also want to make sure we're talking about relationships that you know how to build great relationships. Because that, to me, also is the foundation of success. There are so many smart people in the world. I'm looking out in this audience too. There's no doubt there's so many smart people here, and there's so many smart people in the world. But if you can't effectively build strong relationships or communicate the things that are important to you, then your great ideas are going to live on a shelf, and people aren't going to care. So we care about who our students are. We care about making sure that you get to follow the things that are important to you. And we do that by spending a lot of time with you, by having great advising at this school, making sure we know you on the stage, in the classroom, in a dormitory, on athletic fields, and everywhere in between. And I am so proud of the faculty that we have here, and you're going to get a chance to meet some of the administrators and faculty pretty soon, who are not just great content experts, and they're coming from all walks of life, whether they have PhDs in chemistry, whether they've been Fulbright Fellows in Montenegro. I'm just mentioning a couple of our faculty who just started this year. But these are people who are committed to getting to know you and spending time with you in all these different kinds of ways. And that's a really exciting thing to be able to do. Now, before I turn this over to others to kind of walk through a number of different things going on, you'll see on our campus right now as you're walking around a little bit, the Bogel Science Center, which is on the other side of campus near our golf course, is undergoing a major expansion and renovation. We feel it's critical, and we've seen more of our students taking multiple science classes because we know that having facility in science and research is going to be really critical for you in the future. So that building is being expanded and renovated, and that will be coming fully online as of the start of next academic year. And actually also on that side of campus, we have an indoor golf training facility that's being built right now. It should be done by the time we reach Petty Day. Has anyone heard of Petty Day? Okay. So Petty Day, which is going to be home this year, and thank you, by the way, for keeping that hand raised. I feel very good about Petty Day this year. We've got a lot of great opportunities to take back the cup this year. On that side of campus, there'll be a new indoor golf training facility and actually a new winter sports complex that's going to allow our sports, from our field sports to tennis, be able to operate year-round, even during winter weather. And as you may have noticed from being outside today, having a little bit of a touch of Seattle weather here, that the weather in the Northeast can be a little bit unpredictable and volatile, so we're excited about having the opportunity to do lots of things indoors on that side of campus as we go into the winter and the spring months. But before I turn it over to others to talk today, a couple things. In various times that I've been on this stage talking to our students, I give them reminders and give them advice, in fact, our entire community, about some things that are important to us. And I think just saying these 2 or 3 things might give you a good understanding of what our priorities are here as a school. I often tell our students to look up more than they look down. Look up more than they look down. Now that could be, look up more, not looking down at your devices, and sometimes we look down at our devices. Parents, students, all of us, I'm guilty of it myself. But this is a school where you will look up more, where you will see people for who they are. And when you're walking on the pathways here, while it's not perfect, we work really hard to have our students not necessarily get caught up in their devices, but actually see and talk to and meet one another. That's critical. And looking up means more than just physically looking up. There are so many reasons in the world sometimes to feel sad and not great about things that are going on. Every day that I come to this job and come into this theater or sit in a classroom and see our students, I look up as much as I ever have in my life, because the students here and the work that we do here makes me as optimistic as ever and hopeful as ever. So sometimes people get cynical. I refuse to allow that to happen here. High school age, as you go into college, the beginning part of this time of your life where you are thinking about the things that are important to you, I refuse to let students leave a place like this cynical. And that's really important. That's part of the ethic, and that's part of the place here. And then lastly, we focus very much on kindness in this community. Now, kindness doesn't mean nice. Nice is sort of the cover, the veneer of things, where everyone looks like they're happy, but maybe they're not. We focus on how people treat each other here. In the beginning of the school year, I put up a quote up on the screen and used that as the basis of my conversation, which was, when will we as a society focus as much as we do on technology on how people treat one another? And I feel very strongly how people treat one another in this community can be an incredible model and an incredible light for the rest of the world. So we talk about it all the time. We don't achieve perfection every day, but that fundamentally is important to this community. And I think that allows students, all of you who might be thinking about Blair, what do we want? We want you to be here and be authentic, and to figure out who you are and who you want to be. And so if you can be authentic and even at times vulnerable in a place where people are going to take really good care of you, that's really what great learning is going to look like. And the great thing too is we do it in a place that is joyful and fun, where as much as we have these great conversations about the issues of the world, I'll also sit in dorm duty and eat pizza and talk to people about movies at 10:30 at night, because that's great and fun. And there are traditions in this school and new things that we do every single day that are pretty extraordinary. So you're going to get a chance to experience that, hear that, kick the tires, get under the covers, understand who we are. But I'm thrilled about the opportunity of having so many of you here today, getting to learn about us and for us to be getting to learn about you. And so with that, I think I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Curran to set up the next part of the day, but welcome and thanks for being here.
You're going to see a lot of me today in short spurts, and thankfully I don't have to yell anymore. So I'm really again, I want to reiterate what I said in the Chang Center, just a real warm welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Mr. Fortunato, Chris and I often joke about who has the better job here. He'll say he does, and I'll say I do. One of the things that I absolutely love about what I get to do is travel the world to meet really unbelievable, intellectually curious, awesome kids and get them fired up about Blair. And then there are days like today where all of you come here, and it is just so exciting for me and for all of us here to be able to share a little bit about what we do and who we are with all of you. And it's hard to really give you this authentic experience when there's a couple hundred people here and classes are going on, but hopefully you're going to leave here today, like I said earlier, with a good sense, a good feel, a real understanding of who we are as a community, where our curriculum is, what our vision is, where our pedagogy is, where we're going, and where we've been. I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about the actual process itself, because that's something important. For some of you, you've done this before, and so you're pretty well tuned to what's going on. And for others, this is your very first time going through the process. So being here today is an excellent way to begin the process. It's an open house. It's an opportunity for you to get a little bit more familiar with our community and what's going on here. I mentioned taking a personal tour and interview. That's a huge part to this process for you and for us. So some of you have scheduled interviews already, and others will have that opportunity to schedule them today. As I mentioned, Julianne will be at the activities fair, and she'll be able to schedule an interview, or you can always call back or email us. But essentially, we want you to come back so that you have an individual time, a one-on-one time to connect with us. And we'll interview you, and you'll also have a personal tour. And that will be able to give you a better sense of what goes on, to answer your personal questions, and also for you to share more about yourself with us. A few of the other pieces to this process, though, and it's all outlined on our website, is the personal application, and that's something that you can do online. It's pretty straightforward. Math and English recommendations. You're going to ask your math and English teacher to write a recommendation. Again, they can fill that out online. That's pretty straightforward. You can submit a third personal recommendation if you'd like. It's from somebody else. It could be another teacher. It could be a family friend, and that's totally fine too. Again, all of that is submitted electronically. We do ask for you to take the SSATs, and I will go around and meet with students and visit them in their classrooms, and I'll say, when you hear those letters, do you get this warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart? They often say no, and I totally get it. And it is an important part of the process, or else we wouldn't ask you to take the test. But it's not the only part of the process. I mean this very deliberately. If we based our acceptances solely on what you got on the SSAT, my job would be really easy. It would all be quantifiable, and just if you get above a certain score you're in and below a certain score you're not. That's not how we do things. This is a very comprehensive process. It's very holistic. We spend many, many hours in the month of February in my office sitting as a committee talking about each of you. I don't want it to sound creepy, but we do. We spend a lot of time talking about you, reading your recommendations, reading what your parents had to say, reading what the interviewer wrote up about their conversation with you. That matters a lot. Looking at your transcripts. And I'll tell you students something. If you don't do so well on one section of the SSAT, let's say you don't do well in the quant section, okay? That's not the only indication that we have to learn about you as a math student. We ask for redundancies in the data, right? So we can look at your math recommendation. We can look at your transcript. We can start to understand what picture you are as a student. We'll even go in depth on the SSATs to look at the right, wrong, and what you omitted to see how you took the test, okay? Sometimes people will take the test more than once. That's fine too. I'd say more than twice and then it's excessive. I don't think you're gonna get good results if you take it a third time. We offer it here at Blair. It's usually the first Saturday of every month and there's other testing locations. I would encourage you though, if you're unfamiliar with the test, there's a book you can get. I think it's $20 or $30. Take a practice test. Familiarize yourself. Understand how it's scored. Because it is helpful to at least have some familiarity before you sit down to take the test. And get a good night's sleep. I know your parents will always say that to you, but students, that is important the night before. So it's the transcripts, so important, how you're doing in school, your recommendations, the application, the personal interview, and the SAT. That completes your application. All of that is due on January 15th. If you submit it early, great, but you're not gonna get extra points if you do submit it early. So if you want to get it done, awesome. If you submit it late, not as great. So please submit it on time if you can, because that is important, because right after that, we then get into reading all of these and reading everything that you wrote and then making decisions. And we make all of our decisions by March 10th. Okay, so the past couple years, and we'll let you know exactly at what time, but we send out an email notification. And there's 3 notifications that we send out. It's either an acceptance, a wait list, or a denial. Okay? If you're accepted to Blair, you'll have the opportunity to come back for 2 revisit days. These are days like today, but you come back and you have an even more in-depth view of the school. You get to visit classes, you have a host, and those usually happen at the end of March. If you're waitlisted, that just means that we're really excited about you, but unfortunately, because of how competitive it was, we didn't have room at that time. People often ask me where they are on the wait list. Is it numerical 1, 2, 3? And I always describe it as more of a waiting pool, right? So if we have space in a girls' freshman dorm and you're a day student boy, it's probably not as helpful where you are. So it all sort of depends on how it plays out. But if you are waitlisted, we would like you to, if you want to remain on the wait list, you can communicate that to us, and then we'll let you know sort of over the next month how that plays out. And then if you're not accepted, it just means that, it was such a competitive year. We're sorry. We're happy to have that conversation and do encourage you if you want to reapply the following year. Financial aid is another big question that families will ask about sort of what that process is. It's the exact same deadline as the application. It's January 15th. And please make sure you get that information in on time. That does really matter. We have an extremely generous financial aid budget of $6.9 million. We're really proud of that. Over 40% of our students are on financial aid. But we need to make sure that you get the application in on time. And you can fill out the financial aid application all online. Students, this is something you don't have to do, so you can sort of, you get a break from this one. But parents, it's not so in-depth, but if it's your first time, it's going to take a couple hours. We're going to ask for some tax documents and some other things. Again, on the application section of our website, that will explain sort of when the financial aid process is and how to apply and all of that. So again, the big dates for you to remember is after today. Would love for you to come back. Hopefully you'll enjoy today to schedule a personal interview. Try to schedule that sooner because they do book up. January 15th is when the financial aid and application deadlines are. March 10th, we let you know what happens, what the result is. And then I didn't mention April 10th is when we ask you to let us know. If you're admitted, we want to hear back from you by April 10th to see if you'll accept our offer. So those are sort of the 3 big dates. But again, really excited to have you here. A warm welcome. We have students that have traveled a great distance, some internationally, others more locally. But again, it's so great to see so many faces at Blair today. I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues in the academic office to give you a little bit of a flavor of the academics at Blair. Then we'll have a student panel, and then we're going to split you guys up. So again, welcome and thanks for being here.
My name is Lori Perry, and I'm Assistant Head of School and Dean of Faculty.
And my name is Nathan Multenny, and I'm the Dean of Academics here at Blair.
Do you want to talk about
Sure.
that?
And our hope this morning is to give you some insight into the experience you'll have as a student at Blair, who the people are that you'll connect with here at the school, and what is it that we do in our classroom, right? What are the opportunities you might have in a Blair classroom if you end up coming to Blair? The first part, at the heart of any Blair experience are the relationships that you'll have the chance to form with faculty in the community. And some of those are relationships, right, that every student will have based upon our dual advising system, which I think is one of the things that makes us a little bit different than other schools. And we do this for a couple of reasons. We know that the most successful students at Blair are the ones who open themselves up to the support and guidance that faculty who care about being involved in their lives can offer. And so everyone has two of those people every year, in addition to a housemaster if they're a residential student. That's a part of their experience here at Blair. The first is what we call your academic monitor. And the academic monitor is assigned by the school on an annual basis. So you have a different monitor each year, and they're really specialized in understanding the experience of that grade level. Right? So if you're in the 9th grade, you'll have a 9th grade monitor who knows all about transition issues to the school, what it's like to take the 9th grade curriculum, what the study hall program looks like, right, and how to support you in that experience of coming to Blair for the first time. And their job really is to hold together the experience that you're having as a student, your parents who, right, are away from the school but might want some understanding of what's going on, right, and the official school side, right, all the expectations that come from us and from the faculty. And make sure that all works well, right, and they're all on the same page and working together effectively. And then you have the chance to pick, as a student at Blair, your own personal advisor from anybody that you meet, right? From the 3rd soccer coach to the athletic trainer, to someone from advanced, right, to the housemaster in your dorm, or the person who's been here 40 years or 1 year, right? Every student has that chance to identify the person that they think is going to be a good match for them, get to know that person in depth, and let them be part of their experience at Blair for either a year or 4 years, depending if that relationship really blossoms. We think those two people are essential to the experience that everyone has here at Blair.
So my role as Dean of Faculty is pretty important in that one of the jobs that I do is hire new faculty for Blair. Not only do they need to be content experts and able to coach your kids at a high level, they have to be great kid people who love children, are appealing to kids, and have the ability and the inclination to help kids grow not only as students but also as faculty members. And year after year, we're able to find and attract and hire and retain fantastic faculty who do just that and more. I'm really pleased, especially with the faculty that we hire who are coming from some sort of industry prior to becoming a teacher here at Blair. For example, we have a former lawyer, and he teaches a history class in constitutional law that's extremely popular. We also have former engineers who are teaching computer science, physics, and chemistry. And then we have professional artists who are teaching students in their medium. And it's just a tremendous resource for our children who may not wish to become teachers, but wish to do the things that our teachers have previously practiced that then brought them to teach students skills in their previous areas. And I love that our teachers are always looking to grow and are willing to grow, and that Blair is a generous place in supporting faculty growth. We give faculty money to pursue options off campus to go to conferences like Learning in the Brain, for example, or TABS, which is a consortium of boarding schools that come together and look at things that are happening in boarding schools today. But also, we've developed a lot of opportunities in-house. So faculty have developed for faculty 15 different year-long sessions for this school year, and they all want to grow in particular ways together. And then over the summer, the school has developed in the last few years some institutes that have allowed us to redesign parts of our program. This last year, our 10th grade history curriculum was utterly redesigned because all of the faculty in that department were willing to come together over the summer and do nothing for a week, but get paid to work on this thing together. And it's so wonderful to have that group now pulling in the same direction. We did the same thing for our chemistry course, And it's been amazing already just this fall to see what a difference it makes when teachers have time to collaborate. And our teachers are really willing to. It's just a matter of finding time. And I'm glad to be at a school that supports faculty by giving them that time and opportunity to come together. It's definitely to our students' benefit. I wanted to walk us through some of the other ways in which our curriculum has developed and our school has changed, and some of the wonderful things that have happened because of the fantastic faculty who we attract and retain here at Blair. So first of all, I'm in the English department. It's my 3rd year, and in my 1st year, I got the chance to teach a course on boarding school literature to seniors, and they got to write stories based on their experiences here, looking at famous works of literature based on boarding schools in the past. And that's just one of many opportunities that our students have here, including exploring The Invisible Man, including looking at fairy tales and other adolescent literatures, and a host of other opportunities that we give at the senior level for our English students. We also are a school, as Chris mentioned, where we prize communication. And we have our kids participating in public speaking opportunities here on the stage, but also filming leadership stories. How many of you have seen leadership stories online yet? Check them out. They started, 5 years ago, and we have many, many that are filmed, and they're awesome. My freshmen are doing it right now. And we also have recently instituted a school-wide summer read, and I love this program. It exists at a lot of other schools too, but here, the book is chosen by committee of faculty and students alike. So people who are readers in the crowd, you could be involved in shaping what it is the whole school is talking about as far as literature goes. And we always pick a debut novelist, which is to say somebody who's never published before, and our aim is to get them here. This year we read Homegoing by Yagi Yassi, and we're trying to get her here to talk about what it was like to write a book for the first time, which is an experience we would love all of our students to be prepared to have. In our history department, we also have a lot of electives for our students, and we take kids off campus to New York City to go to Intelligence Squared debates. We bring TEDx here, and kids can perform for a TEDx conference. And then additionally, we have the Society of Skeptics, which is a really long-running lecture series put on every Tuesday night here at Blair, where we bring in experts in a number of different fields to talk with our kids. And I wanted to talk about our language department too, which has AP courses in most languages, and also post-AP classes. As with English, as with history, communication is the key. Our courses are taught in immersion. Grammar certainly matters, but culture matters just as much. We're always looking for opportunities to partner with organizations off campus. For example, we have a program called La Conexión, where our students can go into Newton a couple times a week, and they can tutor students who are primarily Spanish-speaking, and we're looking for ways to do that with Francophone communities as well. So Nathan, you've got a couple other departments to cover.
Yes, and I'm excited to start with the math department, where I spent 7 years at Blair before I started this job. And one of the things that makes our math department a little unique is that we really emphasize the beauty of the discipline and how we teach it. If you talk to a math teacher at Blair, you might hear them talk about math as an art, which might be a little surprising, but that's the way that our teachers think about the experience they want you to have in their classroom. To love what you're doing, to think about math as something you create, right, and develop, right, and have ownership over. And so we have a department filled with enthusiastic, passionate mathematicians who want to bring students into that experience of seeing, right, math in a way, right, that's going to excite their creativity, right, enliven their learning in a unique and interesting way. The department also listens to what students are interested in learning. Each year we have a post-BC option. Some years that's in number theory, some years it's in combinatorics. This year at student request we add an advanced calculus-based statistics class. To meet that need, we know that students use math in a variety of ways and want to make sure that we're thinking about the way that discipline is going to be valuable to students in their lives beyond Blair. In the sciences, we're excited to be wrapping up the redesign of our Bogel science facilities. You may have seen the construction today if you're on the far side of campus. When that building is finished, we can't wait to get our science classes in there for the new lab facilities. It will also allow us to support our brand new independent science research program, which will start this year. They won't have their lab yet, but they're preparing their full year projects for next year. And that's a program that's open by application to any student at Blair that thinks that they would be interested in constructing and developing a 1 year, full year science project with the oversight and the support of a mentor at the college level. So we're looking forward to forming connections, and I've already started that with Lehigh for the types of projects that will be ongoing here at Blair. Lab work is threaded throughout the science curriculum at the lower levels. The biology and the chemistry classes do huge lab-driven explorations as a major part of their grading for the year. And then as students continue on to the later part of their Blair career, the curriculum opens up to allow for lots of traditional science experiences like physics and AP Physics and AP Biology, and also the elective part of our program, which is really exciting for kids. We're talking about things like astronomy, right? Maybe you're out viewing stars with Mr. Ryerson late at night, or environmental science, and you're out at the lake measuring the pH level to figure out how it's impacting the local ecosystem, right? Or you're taking marine science with Mr. Gertzen and having the chance during a vacation to head down to the Bahamas, right? Or to the Cayman Islands and look at marine life, right? And be right on top of the things that you're studying. We have other electives too, like biochemistry honors, we've offered pharmaceutical science in the past. And the science department shares some parallels with the math department in wanting to build that enthusiasm that you have for the subject up through your experiences in the classroom. And then finally, the curriculum that we think about being anchored in the Chang Center is our fine arts curriculum and our makerspace, or our design and technology curriculum, and our computer science courses. And to us, those really belong under the same roof. That's why they live there. It's a lot about what you're going to make through that experience, right? Our artists are making photography, they're doing photographs, they're doing two-dimensional drawings, our ceramic studio, right? But we also have courses in 3D design. We have 5 different levels of computer science, a robotics program that's both during the school day and an after-school activity. Pretty much anything that you're going to be making or designing with your hands lives within that building, and we continue to push on the intersections between those disciplines as part of the normal experience for students here at Blair. And that's just for us a little walkthrough of the different opportunities that may exist. We know that all of the department heads will be at the fair today. I hope that you'll take the chance to ask them about some of those things specific to their disciplines that excite you, and learn more in depth the great opportunities that we have here in our curriculum.
And I would say while you're meeting the department chairs and while you're meeting the coaches, you really ought to be watching for, are they interested in your children? Do they seem to know a lot about their subject? How do they feel about the way that the curriculum is changing? Because I want that to be reflected, not only what courses do we teach and who do we have here, but what are they looking to bring out of your children, or what are they looking to get from working with your children? And I think that you'll get a really good sense of our faculty if you kind of keep those 3 questions in mind. I hope you really enjoy your day here today. Thank you.
So, I know some of you, or many of you hopefully do have some questions about our academic programs more specifically, and later today with our department chairs, and certainly with both Lori and Nathan, you'll have the opportunity to ask them. But as Lori mentioned, our Leadership Stories curriculum, under the academics tab of our website, definitely check it out. Really neat what we've been doing, and as Chris mentioned about communication skills. This is part of our freshman and senior English level curriculum. And you can watch them, and we have not only our students doing it, but alums, as well as current faculty members. So without further ado, this is always sort of the highlight. We're going to stop talking at you so much. I'm going to introduce our Associate Head of School, Ryan Pagato, and then we have a group of students who are going to share little insights about their lives at Blair. So I'll invite them to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I met a few of you over in the CIC. As Peter noted, I'm Ryan Pagato. This is my 17th year at Blair. I was a history teacher, and then I worked in the admission office, and I've been in this role as associate head of school for 7 years now. And I think I have the best job on campus because I get to spend the majority of my time with our students, working with them in a variety of realms of their life, and working with the faculty who work most closely with students, our housemasters, our health center director, folks who lead our weekend activities and student activities programs. So every day is a little bit different. Yesterday I was apple picking with about 25 students, giving apples out of my office for the month of October. It's apple season, and so we restocked for the week ahead. If any of you happen to be near my office, you're welcome to stop by and grab an apple. You don't need to hear from me. This is about hearing from the students and their perspectives on their lives at Blair. You'll see there's one empty chair, and that is, that was nice of you to put that out. For Medina Shabazz, who's on your list, is sick. And so after these guys introduce themselves and we answer a couple of questions, I might ask Tim Goggins to cue her up. She will be coming live to us from a Panera Bread in about 10 minutes. It's the first time I've ever seen this. I've been moderating these panels for like 12 years, and I've never had one like virtually joining us. So let me start with Katie down at the end, and everybody will introduce themselves, where they're from, and a little bit about themselves, and then we'll ask some questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Schultz. I'm from Ridgewood, New Jersey. I'm a freshman here at Blair, and as my extracurriculars, I've been doing JV tennis. I'm skiing in the winter, and I'm hopefully playing lacrosse.
I'm Bryson Garrix. I'm a four-year day student from Nolan, New Jersey. Outside of academics, I'm on the varsity soccer team, varsity baseball team, and I'm a day student prefect.
I'm Ellen Haynes. I'm a senior this year, and I'm from Greenwich, Connecticut, and I'm on senior class council. I was on junior class council last year, and I do spin right now, so I'm cycling.
My name is Thomas Engel, and I'm from Germany. I'm a junior here, and as a sport, I do cross-country, skiing, and crew.
I'm Rylan Rogers. I'm from Spokane, Washington. I'm in 9th grade this year. I play soccer and then wrestle in the winter.
Hi, I'm Joy. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a four-year senior. I'm a lot prefect, which is for sophomore and freshman girls. Outside of academic-wise, I do weight training this season, and I'm also a leader of FIAC and also part of HRC.
Hi guys, I'm Louise Thompson. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a two-year sophomore, so it's my second year, and I've done soccer and I do varsity lacrosse in the spring.
Thank you guys. Let's go back down, and I'd love for you guys to share your favorite class, favorite teacher. Favorite class or favorite teacher, and why? Jules, you can start.
I'd say my favorite class is English with a new teacher, Mr. Mamikilashvili. He is from Georgia, the country. And English is just really cool because we get to talk instead of just taking notes and reading and writing. It's like you have an actual discussion and you get to learn a lot of new things from the people in your class. So it's really interesting. I like it a lot.
So I'm taking a class this year called AP Art History. So basically it's discussion based, and we learn about the context of the art that we're looking at, and also how we view a piece of art, for example, like different forms, different techniques that the artist uses. For me, it's just so interesting because every day I go to class, it's like going to a museum, going to an art gallery. And what I also really love about it is that Mr. Jenkins bases it so much on how we perceive the art, and also giving us the right resources to actually learn about it just beyond what we see.
My favorite class would probably have to be Global Issues with Q. He's just a super funny guy, and like he's really smart with politics and stuff, so it's just kind of, I don't know, he's just smart to be around, smart.
We will make it clear to Mr. Clark that you just told him, said he was smart. Thank you.
So,
Thomas, go ahead. Yes.
I don't have a favorite teacher here because all the teachers I had so far are really amazing. But I have a favorite faculty here on campus, that's Mr. Maza. I can always reach out to him, he's just really a great person. And my favorite class is math. These are like numbers.
My favorite class is also taught by Q or Mr. Clark, and it's Common Law, and that's a class for seniors only, and it's a primarily discussion-based class, and basically every night we read a Supreme Court case, and then we discuss it the next day in class, so it's a really cool opportunity to kind of understand the different political views like in the classroom among like all the students here, and it's just a really nice place to kind of discuss and really educate yourself on what's going on today in America. So I like it a lot.
My favorite teacher here at Blair would probably be Mr. Naismith, who is my AP Calculus teacher. And what I really like about him is, besides being a good teacher, he's really fair. Like, he stresses the fact of what you see is what you get. You know, like your review packets for tests aren't like trying to trick you. Like, they're not going to be easy questions, and then he's going to make it harder on the test. And one of the other things I really like is that he kind of caters to the learning style of students. You know, like he doesn't try to make you conform to like his teaching methods. Like, I'm going to teach it this way, and this is how you're going to do it. Like, he knows that maybe if we're doing a problem and I'm better at factoring and maybe Elle is better at synthetic division, he'll teach it 2 ways. That way each student can kind of use whichever way they prefer.
My favorite teacher at Blair is my Spanish teacher, Miss O'Neill. She's my favorite teacher because she's always there for you as a teacher and as someone you can always go and talk to. She's so fun. It makes me so excited to go to class every day. And I look forward to seeing her. And whenever I had a question about anything, when I was studying for a test, she came to my room and helped me and explained anything I had questions on. And she's just a teacher that really cares about what you're learning and that you know what you're doing.
Thanks, guys. Katie and Rylan, you guys have been here all of about a month. Can you talk a little bit about the transition so far for you, and like what has helped you as you transition to being away from home? A very long distance from you, Rylan. Shorter distance from you, Katie, but nevertheless, you're away from home for the first time. So, how's that transition?
So honestly, I was really nervous about coming to Blair and how I would adjust to this new community and a new environment. But honestly, it's been such an amazing transition so far. Not only have my peers, teachers, faculty members been also helpful, but my prefects are what really impacted me. They're so understanding and they're always there for you if you have any questions about anything. All of them are there for me every night if I ever have any worries or concerns, and they've made the transition so much better. We've had so much fun already within the first month, and it's been honestly perfect.
Rylan?
Yeah, so for me, traveling that far, I was a little worried about getting homesick, but our prefects, Patrick and John and Henry, they let me come into the room, hang out whenever. And Mr. Redos, my advisor, I go and hang out with him all the time, and go hang out with him and his wife, and that's been a big key, I think, I've enjoyed it really a lot this far.
Thanks. You mentioned the advisor. We'd love to have just a few of you touch on, you know, how the advisor has played a role in your life. What's it been like to have a faculty advisor? Do you want to speak to that, Bryson? Go ahead. Whoever would like, Jules.
Okay. I think having an advisor here at Blair is a huge part of just the community. I think it's like your parent, honestly. My advisor last year was Miss Nicolard. She was an English teacher. She actually had left last year, but I have Miss Sykes this year, who's my ceramics teacher, and I love her just as much. They reach out to you a lot. They invite you over. They make food for you. They always check in on you. It's really, they're awesome. They're there for you. They're like your counselors, and it's just really cool. I love the advisor here.
So my advisor is actually Mr. Fortunato, who's our headmaster. But, you know, being a day student, I guess I don't rely on my advisor as much, but really your advisor is always kind of there to like maybe invite you over for dinner, like just plan trips for you. Like sometimes, like last year we went to Sky Zone. We've done laser tag in the past. Just kind of like fun trips to kind of like take a step back from like academics and just have a lot of fun.
Thomas, you were a new sophomore. I imagine we have some new 10th graders in the room right now. We enroll, you know, about 90, 95 freshmen, and then we add about 25 to 30 new sophomores. What was that experience like? And, you know, maybe you could touch on dorm life as well. Go ahead.
So coming from Germany, I thought it's going to be a lot harder to settle in up there, but it was actually really easy. It was just different from home. And what really helped were, in the first couple of weeks, we get to know all the new sophomores, and we were on sophomore retreat, and we were climbing in the trees, and I had a conversation with the student for an hour because we were stuck there. That was pretty great. And in our dorm life, we were just talking all the time. Sometimes we had 2 a.m. conversations. It was just great, and all the people care about you, and the teachers try to interact, and everybody's saying hi, what's your name, and it's great.
Just to qualify the climbing in the trees a little bit, that is our sophomore retreat at the beginning of the year. High ropes course, they had a helmet on, you know, all that stuff. Well protected. A couple more on dorm life. Jules, do you want to speak to life? What's life in the dorm like?
So last year I lived in Locke, which is where all freshmen and some sophomore girls live. This year I live in South, so it's really small. It's kind of like a little house. But both of them I love so much. I love South this year because all the girls there, even all the girls in the grade, but all the girls there, they're like your sisters, and you rely on them for everything, and they rely on you for everything, and they know everything about you, and you go to trips with them. But that's the same thing for Locke too. It's however 90, not 90, there's 70 girls there, and they all become your friends, your sisters, no matter the grade, no matter if they're your prefects or not. You always rely on them and you go to them for stuff, which I just love so much. And the teachers that live in the dorms are always there for you too. I think if you have a problem, even if like the Wi-Fi was out like it was last night, they always come with a hotspot or something. So and they invite you for food, and they just help you with everything. I love it. It's so nice.
It was a beautiful thing to not have Wi-Fi.
Right in the middle of Mindy.
Katie, I know you're dying to say something about life in Locke. Go ahead.
So I honestly love living in Bogel so much. It's probably the highlight of my day, going up and seeing all the girls there. We do so many things, ranging from dance parties after study hall to making cookies in our housemaster's apartment. And we've all become so incredibly close already, and it's my favorite thing ever. So our prefects are always making sure we're having fun, and we're always all together when study hall is over. And it's such a relief to be with people that you love to see and you love to hang out with. And dorm life has probably been the highlight of my career so far.
Dance parties in your dorm, Thomas?
Not as much.
Not as much. I want to hear from a few of our seniors. Just talk about how you've grown at Blair. Why don't we start with Ella, Joy, Bryson?
So when I came to Blair, I was a very shy person, so I was very nervous coming into it. I was a new sophomore too, and I was super nervous. I was worried that kids had already made friends and I wouldn't be able to fit in, which was not the case. I fit in really well and I really enjoyed my first year here. But I was very shy, and so that I was super nervous about that aspect, just like kind of making the effort, or like taking the first steps towards making friends. And I think over the course at Blair, or over my course at Blair, just being separated from home, I've kind of had to develop like ways of making friends easily by myself, without my parents helping me or anybody else. And I think I got a lot better at that, and just a lot better at, like, on stage right now, I'm a lot more comfortable than I would have been before I came to Blair. And so you just have a lot of opportunities to kind of present yourself in front of new people and socialize and really grow socially. So that's what I do here.
Well, basically going off what Ella said, it's just that like we've grown comfortable being uncomfortable, which is just that sometimes there are just like unexpected situations. For example, no Wi-Fi. What we're gonna do is we have to do homework. But how will we do that? We'll go back to old school, pen and paper. And also beyond that, it's just that since Blair is such an open and such a friendly community, it's just that we get to be able to get to know everyone. And sometimes situations like that can get uncomfortable because if you see someone that's halfway across the courtyard and you want to say hi, but you don't want to yell their name out, will you do it? Probably yes. Because no one here will probably judge for that. And honestly, that's one of the best highlights you really get here. Is just to get to know everyone's story, to learn about different cultures, to get to know about different people, and honestly take the best out of every situation and make your Blair experience just a tad bit more interesting than what you would think.
Yeah, so for me being here at Blair, like being a day student coming from like a smaller town in New Jersey, it's a lot different, obviously, you know, like coming here to Blair with students from over 30 different countries, you know, different states, different countries, different cultures, different ethnicity, socioeconomic status. It's very diverse, you know, like being in dorms, being like on a campus. And like when you think of those things, it honestly sounds more like a college almost. Like I really think that coming to Blair really helps you grow and also prepares you for college. You know, being here, kind of getting that college aspect of life, like in a dorm, on a campus, with people from various places across the country and world, really helps prepare you for that next step in your life.
Joy, you can touch a little bit on the performing arts program at Blair, and then if someone else can touch on sort of fine arts, but why don't you go ahead, Joy?
So Blair actually has a really wide range of performing art opportunities. There's orchestra, jazz band, a cappella, which is a club, there's singers, and there's also musical and plays that are throughout the year. And I gotta say, it's one of my highlights of Blair. It's just that music brings together a lot of musicians, a lot of people with the same passion as you. And we have Mrs. Bogel as a conductor, and she is one of the sweetest people out there. And honestly, well, yes. And okay, I do say that we do get busy. We have a lot of obligations after school. But really, even if you take half an hour of your day and just to practice your instrument a little, it's like time for yourself. It's like music therapy, as like there's also art therapy. And honestly, like take the opportunity, because sometimes when we get to college, we might not be able to continue what we really love because we have other obligations. But here at Blair, they really encourage you to really strive for what you really love.
Are you doing ceramics, did you say? Do you want to just talk about that?
So I started ceramics first semester last year, and let me tell you that I was not the best. I tried really hard. I just could not figure it out. But I practiced, and the sites was really helpful, and so are the kids in the class. I was telling Katie's in my ceramics class this year, and I was telling her that you make friends in that class no matter the grade. I think that's with all classes, but no matter the grade or the person or whatever, if you're in ceramics 2 or ceramics 1 or AP, there's all different kinds of people, and you learn a lot of things. I have made like my best friends in ceramics just because we're all very different, but you pretty much, you start in different spots. Katie made a starfish this year while I was making a pot, and it just depends on where you are. And I had to face a lot of problems. I was not really it was hard, but it's getting a lot easier now, and I like it a lot. It's really cool. The teachers and the people, they all are there to help you, which is just really nice. I love it.
Is there anything you wanted to add, Katie? You're leaning forward.
So to piggyback on what Jewel said, I think that ceramics is one of my favorite parts of the day. I love meeting all the upperclassmen. It's so fun to hear what they have to say about Blair. And I honestly, this weekend, I went into the ceramics room on Sunday. I was bored. I finished all my work, and I went in. I attempted making something on the wheel, and it did not go well. But it's just like a class that you can try new things and meet new people. And it's probably, other than Spanish, one of my favorite classes.
We're going to tune into Medina in 1 second, but Ella, could you speak about like what Friday school meeting is like, and what it's been like to be on the senior class council and working with the administration and that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. So on SCC, we run Friday school meeting every single week. So basically, we try to plan something fun that kind of brings the community together for the Friday all-school assembly. And so usually we'll have either a video or a skit. There's 8 of us on senior class council, so 4 girls, 4 boys. And so we work together every week the basic goal is to make everybody laugh and just to make everybody a little bit happier at the end of the week. So we've had, like for example, we did couples yoga where we brought on students onto the stage. We put on like really hard yoga positions on the board and had them just try to do it in front of everyone. So it was super funny. And it was a little scary because some kids were like about to fall off, but they did it. And we had that, and then we've had videos too this year, which they're hard. A lot of effort goes into it, so we work really hard on all of them. But it's so fun, and I love everybody on senior class council. It's been so nice, kind of just to get close to some of these kids who I haven't really gotten close to before. And it's a really amazing group, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Thanks. As I said, this is the first time I've ever done this for a student panel, but like Medina got sick, she's home, and she made this video because she couldn't be here with us. So let's put Medina up real quick, and then we open up to questions from the crowd.
Hi everyone, welcome to Open House. I'm sorry I can't be here with you today, but I'm hoping that Mr. Bogel will be able to show a short video for you guys. I'm Medina Shabazz, and I was a new sophomore at Blair last year. I did field hockey in the fall, the winter musical, and track in the spring. One of my favorite classes this year has to be AP Lit, because we're currently reading King Lear, and every day we have these these really interesting conversations where we get to share our opinions and grow our ideas off each other, which I think is really cool and fun. One of my favorite teachers has to be Miss Pam, who's new this year. She brings a lot of energy to the class and comes up with really cool group activities for us to do. My one piece of advice for new students looking for a new school is to find a place where you feel that you'll be challenged, yet supported by everyone around you, which is what I found at Blair. I love the community, I love my friends, and I just love being here, and I couldn't be happier with my choice.
Let's see what questions you guys have, students or parents. The floor is open. Yes, ma'am.
Firstly, thank you for taking the time out to help us through this process. My question is, as you went through the process yourself, what was the one thing that made you say, yeah, I want to come to Blair? And now that you've come to Blair, does it still work?
So being from North Carolina, I mean, I'm 602 miles away from here. I had not been able to find boarding schools that I was interested in. I actually did not think I was going to come to boarding school, but I mean, look at where I am. I was told that there was a school in New Jersey that had really great people, really great academics, and it was just a cool school. And so I came up here and I told my friends, I said, I promise you, like, I don't think I'm going to like boarding school. And then I came home the next day and I said, I'm sorry guys, I want to go to this school. I love it. The people here, these are my best friends. I would not trade the people here for anything in the world. Even on the first day, our grade, we were all together on NC Porter, and we were hanging out, and like everyone, I think it's just a community, because everyone here is like your best friend, and you can't, they're always there for you, whether you want them to be or not, but you have your roommates, you have your friends, you have your prefects, you have everybody, and it's just really cool. The faculty and staff, everyone's here for you, and that was the reason. It's just the people. I love it.
I think seeing the way people interact just on the Blair campus, like the way people say hi to each other, and everybody's just so genuine and affectionate here, and I definitely saw that when I was touring Blair, and it was something that I was really looking for. It's kind of like a small, close community like this. I think it's really important, especially like at this part in our lives. You create like a really strong support base, and I definitely have found that at Blair, and I think living here, like the friendships I've made, you're saying it's amazing. Like I love all my friends so much. We've gotten so close just from spending time with each other in the dorm. We go through everything together. Like there's no part of it that is separate. So I think I've just created some really, really strong friendships that I'll remember forever.
So when I applied to Blair, this was the only school I didn't tour, and I had a Skype interview with Mr. Kern. I really liked him, and he was probably the person why I came here. And then I didn't tour here, but he showed me the school when he was walking around with our Skype call, and it was so funny.
He got a little seasick. I'm carrying the computer around. He's like, can you slow down a little bit? So.
And then 2 weeks later, I had another Skype call, and then I was calling Katerina. She was a German student here, and another German student. We were talking for an hour, and that made my decision final to come to Blair. It was just great talking to them, and they explained me everything. And the community was great. You could see how happy they were.
Thank you for the question, ma'am. Yes, right down here.
Hi, I have a question about integrating new sophomores and rising sophomores. Like, what are things that the school does to integrate the new students with the old students? Since all the new freshmen have been there and had an orientation, so what is things that you do for the new sophomores?
So,
how do we integrate new sophomores into the school? Was the question?
Yes. So last year we had the sophomore retreat where we went on the tree climbing stuff. And then you also have Super Sunday where we play games in the bowl, and we just have some stuff we can do together, and we have a slide, soap slide, and that's really fun. You just get to know everyone. And then also in your dorm you just get to know the people, and they always talk to you, so it's just constantly you get interaction.
Ella, you were a new sophomore as well. Anything you'd add?
Yeah, I was going to say, you get here, you arrive on campus a few days before classes actually start, so you kind of have that time and those nights spent in the dorm before we actually kind of get thrown into all the academics. I think those are really, really important in kind of making friends and getting to know people. And I mean, there's obviously tons of activities planned and like a bunch of opportunities for you to go out, meet people and socialize and do things like that. But also just like being here without classes, it's some really nice like social days of the year. Like you just get to kind of relax and just focus on meeting new people and kind of getting all settled at Blair before classes start. So that was big for me.
Yeah, there are many formal ways, like the retreat, that the school kind of ensures that sophomores are integrating, forced integration. But really, as they've spoken to, it happens in dorm life. It happens when you get on a bus together and go to Soccer Fest, which is our big first Saturday night event. It happens at the Grill and Chill after that. And really, I would say the prefects are key. Our senior leaders are key at kind of making sure that new students, sophomores, or even some new juniors are getting out and getting involved as well. So thank you for the question. Yes, right over there.
I'd like to hear about something that's difficult at Blair, something that you have a hard time with, whether it was your transition, something that you deal with on a daily basis or a yearly basis, but something that was difficult for you personally about coming to Blair, or maybe it was just a learning experience, since obviously students and something that previously. So, something hard.
Yeah, the question was, what has been difficult?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I feel like, honestly, I came from kind of very far from here, like the other way across the world. Anyways, like apart from like cultural differences, there's also like a big factor about time management. Is that once you really get to Blair, is that you really need to learn how to put your time aside and do what you need to do. There's no more procrastination, although sometimes we do. But like you really got to know what's got to be done, when's it got to be done. And like sometimes, like for example, as like seniors, we have so much work to do, and I'm prefecting, and there's a lot of other obligations. So you also need to know how to reach out and tell people around you that you need help. And like once you actually communicate that, they really come to your rescue. Like honestly, like teachers are willing to give you extensions. Friends around you are listening to like your 3-hour rants. Like teachers will be there if you're crying like 3 hours at night. Honestly, like I'm a mess sometimes, but really like when it comes in like just in the right moment, just when I need them. But the really thing is that if you need help, really communicate that.
I think I was worried about how like everything would fit in, like you said, with like the work and the school and stuff. And I think I came into Blair, I was definitely not shy, but I have stage fright, and here I am. And I think that was probably the hardest thing, is that Blair, you are made comfortable by being uncomfortable. And so I think that I was always nervous to talk in front of a bunch of people, even though I like talking to people, but in front of a bunch of people was hard. And meeting all the new people and just having to do a lot of things individually, having independence, I think was going to be my problem. But there's a lot of things, like you get through it pretty quickly. It's kind of hard to be nervous here because everyone makes it very comfortable. So I guess that was just hard for me, is being comfortable, but it got over it pretty quickly.
Rylan, I asked you the other day a similar question, like what's been tough? And you kind of said that it hasn't been that hard so far, but you're going to be you're doing soccer now, wrestling in the winter. Would you speak to time management and how that's working for you, among other priorities and things?
Yeah, so for me, I've been keeping pretty busy because our preseason for wrestling, a lot of the kids are still wrestling right now. So I normally go from soccer, and then right after soccer, I'll run over and get a practice in before like formal dinners on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then as far as just finding time to fit in school as well, so like I like the idea of study hall 8 to 10 every night, because at least it puts aside time for me to actually sit down and do my homework and stuff. So that's just kind of been, it's actually, I haven't had a huge transition, and it's been pretty good so far with study hall. And
all all of our freshmen have a study hall on Monday evenings. Mr. Multenny might have spoken to that beforehand, but it really starts the week off right for them. They're planning ahead for the week. They have their planner, which is checked. They're in small groups out of the dorm in our main academic building, in groups of like 12 students with one teacher there. And the other nights they're having study hall in their dorm. But that's for our freshmen, and it's really a model program. I think you're going to see more boarding schools doing what we're doing with our freshmen. So, Peter, time for one more question. Okay. Oh boy, gosh, there's 3 hands up. This is the first one I saw. Go ahead.
How do you feel about being away from your parents, and was it a big adjustment?
Katie.
So at first it was a hard adjustment because I lived with my parents my whole life, but I think Blair does an amazing job of making sure you get close with your housemasters and your advisors, and I think that no one will ever live up to your parents. They're your biggest teachers in life, but the thing is that they're like your advisor and your monitors, and you have so many people set up for you to help you that their main goal is to make sure you're okay and you're doing well, that they're like my parent figures at Blair. And I think that it's been more simple than I thought, but there's always people looking out for you, and I can't stress that enough, that you'll always have people there. And although I miss my parents so much, I still see them a few times a month, and it's great to learn how to live without them because you grow as a person and as a student.
So for me, it's not hard. I love my parents, I love my family, but I don't miss them here. And honestly, I think the transition for me going here was harder for my parents than it was for me. So after 2 months, I heard that my parents were crying afterwards for 3 days. And I think when they see your first smile, it's easier for them, and they know you're in a good place, and I think that's what happened.
Thanks. Last one, Jules.
So my brother, he is a senior at a boarding school in Virginia, and I remember when he left, my parents were a mess, and I had to deal with it by myself because and I was so worried that when I told them I was coming to boarding school, I was like, oh gosh, we're gonna have to deal with it again, but I wasn't gonna be there. So I was worried that I was going to miss them just as much as they missed me, and I love them with all of my heart. I love my parents, but I'm not sitting in my room thinking about how much I miss them all the time, even though I miss them a lot. But like there's a lot of people here that make you feel like you don't have to miss anybody because they can act like your parents here, like your advisors, your dorm masters, even your prefects act like your parents or your big sisters. So I think it's not as much as missing them, it's just the absence of their presence, but you still get to see them often, and so.
Is it being live streamed, Peter?
Love them.
They all love their parents. I think we are going to direct folks to other places. Please just join me in giving these guys a round of applause.